Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy connecting with you all. Today I want to talk about breakups and heartbreak and how they are such transformative catalysts for the awakening period. I know for myself and many others, probably a lot of you, we had really difficult breakups leading up to our awakening process, to our spiritual kundalini awakening. And for myself, my breakup right before I started going through an awakening was it was like so different, like the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, you know? And you would think it's just a breakup, but it held so much more significance for me than that. And it was something that, oh man, I hung on until life didn't give me any choice. Like it was ripped away from me. I knew many times, long before we ever broke up, I knew it wasn't something that was going to be suitable for me long term, but I never had the courage to walk away from the relationship. And I think so much of it was just I deeply wanted to be free. I deeply wanted to be on my own. I wanted to go explore life and be single. But there was this part of me that couldn't let her go because I would feel so incomplete without her. And I couldn't stand that feeling of not being validated. I think for a lot of us who go through a breakup right before a spiritual transformation, the breakup is so hard and it really can drag out unnecessarily and create so much more pain and trauma. Even though we know what the right thing to do is, we still won't do it because for so many of us, we had such a lack of self-worth. We had these deep, deep-seated beliefs of, I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough. And I think letting go of somebody, we just kind of felt like, I'll never find anyone else that will love me. I'm just lucky to have this person. I just need to make it work. Even though we knew it was what we really wanted in our heart was freedom and to explore life alone for a while, we couldn't overcome this fear, this deep insecurity of truly going it alone. But as a lot of us have come to learn, as I've come to learn, at a certain point, life doesn't care anymore. And life is going to destroy and completely blow up that relationship. And it may be explosive. And that might be what it takes for the relationship to finally end, is for us to reach such a depth of pain with the other person, for us to be causing so much pain and for them to be causing us so much pain that there's no other choice. Sometimes it has to get that bloody awful. And it's not like it's the other person's fault. It's not our fault. If you want to look at it from a more spiritual, esoteric perspective, is we have soul contracts with these people, with our old partners, because we agreed in another life to come and together and meet each other, to trigger each other for growth, to be able to do exactly the right thing so that the other person could become so much more aware of their unconsciousness and they're patterns that are rooted in unconsciousness. And it can be a very dramatic and painful ordeal, but ultimately it's for our highest good and it's for their highest good too. And not all of these relationships have to end. I know from several people who go through this explosive phase where they're triggering each other, they're screaming, they're having huge blowout fights, but ultimately they are able to agree that they want to have a more conscious life together, and they come to an honest place. That's so key if you're going to continue, is being honest. For me, that was never in the cards. I believe our soul contract was just to bring each other to the brink, literally, of just, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this to each other? Why must we be so needy for each other and so unhealthy, like so codependent and just so unhealthy? And I mean, my relationship got so toxic, and I feel like we're both good people, you know? So it wasn't like it was her fault or my fault. Like I said, it really was like being perfect magnets for each other's neediness and codependency and selfishness and controlling tendencies. And we just really brought that out of each other. And that's beautiful, because through that ugly breakup we had and the rough last few months, we really brought so much more awareness to each other that we didn't even know at the time. At the time, it was just pain and suffering and conflict. But as there's more space and distance from the relationship, I can see what a gift we were giving each other through all the turmoil, and how we were helping each other awaken. And while at the time we may have felt just this burning hatred for each other and this anger and this just this confusion, of why is this hurting so bad? Why can't we just make this work? Now that I've had time and space and distance, and I've grown so much and I've become aware of so much, I have this deep appreciation for her and our conflicts and our struggles, because I see the gifts that it brought me. I see that it helped me just that pain, that deep, deep pain of loss, of a heartbreak, of losing someone you were so dependent on. It's like part of yourself is dying. And there's no way around it. There's nothing that's going to happen to make you feel better. It's just something that you can't escape. And that was the gift. Because I couldn't escape that just visceral pain of losing her, I had to sit with the part of me that was dying. But that death allowed a rebirth, and that death was so crucial to allow the awakening to unfold. Without those parts of me dying that died when we broke up, without those parts of me falling away and dissolving, without that death, then the rebirth wouldn't have been possible. And I see that so clearly in my breakup, how it was a conduit and a tool that the divine was using to lead me into awakening. And that's one of the profound gifts of heartbreak and breaking up, is if we can embrace it and really not try to escape it. We awaken to our truth, which is rooted in worthiness and love. we start to learn to love ourselves more. Our unhealthy codependent patterns start to really fall away. And it's because this breaking up brought the awareness in right in our face of how much suffering and torture it can cause to give someone else the key to our wholeness and happiness. We're literally feeling the burning pain, the heartache of not feeling whole by ourselves, of needing other people to validate us. It's like we put ourselves in a prison cell and then just giving the other person the key. We're not free when we need someone else to make us feel complete. We were born into this life as complete beings. There's nothing about us that's incomplete. To think that you're incomplete and that you need someone else is just an illusion. And I have my breakup to thank for me shattering that illusion. Because when there's that much pain and suffering, you're taken to the ultimate reality. You start to realize that relationships are just variables. There's no such thing as an absolute when it comes to relationships. They're just variables. And you can't control them no matter how much you'd want to. And it gave me the gift of going within and finding the love within and finding the wholeness that was always there to begin with, and the wholeness that my very being and soul was trying to wake me up to. That life was orchestrating such a painful breakup for me so that I could wake up to the worthiness and the love and the joy and the peace that's within me, rather than thinking it comes from something outside of me. And pain and suffering are the greatest catalyst for growth. And there's nothing quite like a breakup, that, especially an ugly one, of someone that you're super attached to. There's nothing like a breakup of someone that you're super attached to, that you think you can't live without. There's nothing like that can create so much inner pain and feelings of hopelessness and dread. But it's those feelings that allow those parts of us, those needy parts of us, I don't want to say insecure and like unworthiness. I don't want to say they die, but they come up for us to accept. And that's the greatest transformative opportunity of a breakup. You are being demanded to accept yourself. And so many of us who get into these needy, codependent relationships, the reason we're there in the first place is we never accepted ourselves. We never learned how to love ourselves. And that's why we're in a needy relationship, is we need them to love us. But then when they're coming at it, you attract who you are, not who you want. So of course they're going to have those same tendencies. And that's, in a way, the beautiful thing of two codependent people meeting, is they kind of wake each other up to that deficit they feel within, so that when they are pulled apart, when the divine comes in and pulls them apart, all of those patterns and unconsciousness, they're really brought to the surface for each of them to see, so that they can come into the truth that they are enough on their own. They are complete beings, that there's no such thing as an incomplete being. And they learn to fill their own cup, so to say. And then they become strong, they become confident, they love themselves, they know they are worthy. And then their next relationships come from a place of just wanting to share. And there's nothing that they're trying to extract from anyone anymore, because they've found everything they ever needed, all the wholeness, all the love, everything. They've learned to find it from within. But they couldn't have gotten there without the painful, ugly breakup. That is what was the catalyst for the growth. And I know for me, my breakup, through all the pain and trauma and suffering and crying and just emotional immaturity, I couldn't not look at myself and say, what am I doing? What have I become? Is this who I really am? And that's the question. Is this who I really am? Am I this person that actually needs somebody else to feel good? Am I this person that needs to extract emotions from others to feel whole? Am I this person that's going to react like a child when I don't get what I want? Or is there something more to me? And when we start asking those questions, then waking up is inevitable. And that's what a relationship can do. A failed relationship, a toxic one, a super dramatically painful relationship can just cause so much fucking pain that you can't escape it. You just have to go through it. And when we can't escape our pain anymore, that's when we start learning how to heal it. When we realize, I either got to heal this, or, we don't even want to, I'll just be honest, I've had moments on this path. I mean, if you guys have followed my story, I've been suicidal. And it's those moments, because I've come up against my own self, so to say. And I realized I could not escape this anymore. And that felt like the only option to me. I don't want to be here. Get me out. Drugs wouldn't work anymore. Sex wouldn't work. Alcohol wouldn't work. Life was saying, no, you're gonna wake up now. And the way to wake up is you need to learn how to heal yourself. And to heal ourselves, we just have to surrender to this negativity. And I'm very thankful that that's what I've done, so that I can be here sharing my journey with you guys, and what I've learned through it. The breakup I had, I don't even know how long ago it was now. Maybe 2.5 years ago. See, and that's the other thing now, is it kind of feels like a dream. And that's after you come out of these. When you're going through it, it feels so damn impossible to think your life will ever be better. You just feel so completely hopeless. And I had those feelings for a long time. But now it's I look back, I can't even really remember when it was. I don't really remember details of it. It's just kind of like a dream. A dream of spirit to wake you up. That's kind of what you're going through when you're going through a really harsh breakup. So just hang in there. Keep letting the feelings up. Keep letting the feelings flow. Don't get down on yourself. Keep opening to the sadness and the grief, to the darker emotions. through crying, through sharing, through being gentle with yourself, through accepting yourself, you're going to start to learn how to love yourself. And all those energies that you were pouring into the other, start pouring them into yourself now. Start learning to love yourself. Very literally, what's going to start happening is you're going to start falling in love with the self. You're going to begin a love affair with the self. And the more you just allow these darker feelings and this pain and this grief to come up and flow out of you, the more you're going to connect with this self. And you're going to start getting glimpses of it. And you're going to start really enjoying and loving what you see there. And then you're going to come to a place where you're going to say, wait, why did I think I needed somebody else? I'm so happy. You'll get to a place where relationships might come, they might go, but it's just joy, it's just an expression, it's just a sharing. And you'll get to a place where you'll know that I'm not gonna die if someone leaves me. I'm gonna be okay. So this video's gotten quite long. This is something that was a really profound part of my life. My breakup happened months prior to my awakening, truly. And I think my awakening was starting to happen right at the end of my breakup. I was starting to feel energy inside of me move. I had never felt that before. And it became more and more pronounced. And actually the energy was pulling me away from my partner so severely that my mind wanted to make it work, but it was so bizarre, but life really wouldn't let me do it. Life was like, no, it's over. Deal with it. And it just sent me into this huge spiral, I have always been so reliant on a partner to validate me. This started from childhood and didn't stop. And it's been something through my awakening, even through my kundalini awakening, that I've had to really work through these patterns of neediness and needing a woman to validate me. But it's also because it's been so difficult and it's been so deeply rooted, it's been so deeply rewarding. The rewards of working through this have been just, beyond what I could have imagined. I say this truthfully to you, like I say everything to you. I don't know how I have to preface that, but I feel happier now than I've ever felt. And I have no romantic connection with anybody. And I never thought I could ever say that. If I was single before, I would have a girlfriend the next week. I would do whatever it took. I was always just okay, I'm single, I have to find another relationship. Almost and frantically. And that's why I would dread breaking up so much, is because I never could be alone. But now it's just oh my gosh, there's so much peace here and not needing somebody else. I can just relax and just see what life brings, and whatever it brings is great. And that is the opportunity and the gift of a traumatic and painful breakup. Is it's going to bring you into this awakening into who you really are, and you're going to connect to this wholeness, this joy, this inner joy and peace, this completeness that isn't reliant on not even another person, a partner. It's not reliant on status in society, money, nothing. It's just so beautiful. It's just unattached, yet very present and deeply connected feeling to life. So that's what I'll share today. This is already 25 minutes. So I should probably wrap this up. I hope that this helps you guys if you're going through a difficult time, or if you are coming out of it. I look forward to connecting with you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a great day. Namaste.